Hi there, Graham Vincent, violin maker and musician, and
Thibaut Jaberg. Hi there.
hi. Right, so another quick summary of what we've been up to today.
Yes.
Introduced Thibaut to the delights of the Cadbury mini eggs.
Yes.
So should we tell you what? Let's go through some of the comments and questions that we've had on the last video. Actually, Andrew Parrish, loving the updates. Good. Keep going with the oak. It's the future. Lol. Yeah. That's, I think, referring obviously to the fact that one of the violins I'm going to be making next is in bog oak. The octave violin I thought was fantastic in bog oak. But actually, just making a standard violin is going to be a bit of a first for me. I know that Andrew's done it before, and his always sound pretty reasonable. So if I can make mine sound as good as his, we'll be laughing. I wish I could have found an apprenticeship. All the luthiers in my area never let anyone in since there's a violin making school nearby at a cost of $40,000 a year.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna stop. That's gonna put anyone off, isn't it?
That is.
I'm going to try this on a Baroque fingerboard soon. I'm waiting for the tools I ordered. The video will be a great help. That, I think, specifically is about the method we were discussing, my method of actually sort of cutting the purfling slot and gluing the purfling before you then cut the one coming up to it, so that you protect the little triangles which of the timber around it, which it's so easy to just break the tip off those triangles. Yeah. Michelle 5789. Hi, just curious about how many violins Thibaut has made so far.
Oh, well, that's an interesting question. So I actually just been counting violins before, and it turns out that this cherry wood violin here will be the 8th violin that I made. I completed 7 so far, and I also completed 2 violas, and I'm currently building my 3rd viola. And I am currently building my first cello as well. So I'm about sort of maybe a quarter of the way through my first cello. And I have been building guitars before I started making violins. And I have made 8 guitars. So yeah.
I mean, just to reiterate, I mean, I said it before. I mean, Thibaut is not here to learn how to make violins. He's here to sort of see how I make violins, so that if he sees there's any additional useful bits, he'll pinch the ideas, and otherwise he'll go back to Switzerland going, well, at least I know how not to do it. Jeff 034. Are you temporarily gluing top and back to ribs to refine outline before doing purfling channel? So you might as well answer that one, because you've just been doing that.
I did this once for my first violin, because that was the way the violin maker where I was doing this violin at, that was the way he does it. But sort of I find the advantage of doing this is like so small compared to the extra amount of work you have from like temporarily gluing those together and then ungluing those. And yeah,
I mean, I use locating pins here. You do as well, don't you?
That helps a lot.
Yeah.
No, I actually don't use locating pins normally. I have only used them twice before for Baroque instruments, where it's obviously very useful to have like pins to sort of act as like pivot points for like centering the neck. That's really useful. But for the normal modern violins, I actually never use pins. And I actually don't mind small asymmetries and differences in like the distance of or like the amount of overhang. I don't really care if there is a few tenths of a millimeter of like slight unevennesses. So yeah, I think it just all adds a bit of character.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot faster.
Yeah, indeed. But I think, I mean, personally, I really like using locating pins, and they just make lining up the sort of putting the front and the back in exactly the same spot as the spot it was in when you marked the outline. Just Just makes it so easy.
Yeah.
I wonder what proportion of modern makers do use pins and what proportion don't.
I don't know, it's probably about half and half,
Yeah,
I would
it's
say. Sort of
I'll say
gut feeling from
seen
looking
plenty
at
with and plenty
pictures
without,
and
really.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the hourglass for? Ah, right. Yeah, the hourglass is. Where's it gone?
Where is
Oh,
it
over
gone?
here.
Yeah.
The hourglass is. Whoa, sorry. It was simply a method of, for me, when I'm working on my own, of trying to keep myself focused. So it's a 30-minute hourglass, and quite often I'll just say, right, I'm going to have that done in 30 minutes, and I just put this on and set myself a little race to keep myself focused. That's all that was about. And where the heck are the mics?
The mics. Oh,
There you
yeah,
go.
we forgot the mics.
We've
for
done
the
it. We've
last
done
video.
it. So yeah, those are sort of questions that have come in, which is quite interesting. So
Yeah.
so let's have a bit. I mean, we've kind of touched on a little bit of an update, but basically, Thibaut has been full steam ahead.
Yes. So what did I do? This morning I started on the neck. So actually, because Graham was busy and because I'm not using the machines here in the workshop, I did all of the outline by hand. I just did like basically lots of saw cuts with the Japanese saw, just loads of saw cut around the outline, and then I just hammered the bits away, and then I just used like paring chisels and paring gouges to just carve away
join the
at
dots.
the
Yeah.
outline. Yeah. And yeah, I think it wasn't. I mean, it was obviously slower than a bandsaw and a disc sander, but it's okay. It wasn't like an inhumane amount of work.
No. And the cherry's quite nice.
Yeah,
to
the
work
cherry
with,
obviously sort of helped quite a
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
So that's really coming along. I mean, basically,
Yeah, it is.
and the other thing you've done obviously is you know
Yes.
talking about the sequence of gluing in purfling. I mean,
Indeed.
you've put all the seabout
Yeah.
purfling in place.
Yeah, so I'm now halfway through like using this method, and so far I'm really happy with it. It was very easy and completely stress-free to glue in those seabout purflings. And yeah, now we'll see how it goes to make the joint when one of the two is already glued in place, but I'm sure it's going to be okay. And it is true that it sort of makes sense if you want to do like an accurate sort of fit, then it's obviously helpful if you have like one of the two bits which is like a very constant factor, like one factor that doesn't change. So if you have just one glued in place and you just give it the shape you want, and then you don't touch it anymore, and then you sort of just fit the other one to it, I imagine.
And I mean, I find it's very easy like that. But also, I was going to say it works pretty much just as easily with when you're using a more traditional purfling, with 3-banded purfling. It does. It's still quite easy to get a nice accurate corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what Thibaut has been up to. I have been. I'll put a little bit of footage here, but basically I have been varnishing and then sort of French polishing the violins that I've been making. They're coming along nicely. I've moved along the next one. I'm making the maple one. I've been sort of bending ribs and all the rest of it. Again, I think I've taken some other photos of that, so I'll put them into this. Prepared the front and the back. The back is rather a splendid looking bit of maple. Very happy with that. And the front is this, what I believe to be Baltic pine, which I've been talking about. I think we looked at it a couple of times, haven't we? But it's, very, very resonant. And the only thing it does, you're quite aware of the density of it when you. It's a little bit heavier, isn't it, than spruce? So probably I will take it down a little bit thinner. But I've made fronts on rather successful sounding violins out of this sort of material before, so I'm perhaps a little bit more confident about it than
Yeah.
Thibaut is.
Absolutely. I might be a bit worried about using
Yeah.
it for the first time, but I mean, I am now making a cherry wood front, and I've
Exactly,
seen
yeah.
oak wood fronts work. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Friday today. I think actually we're probably going to be in for like a half day or something tomorrow, maybe, but we probably won't do a video of that. I think so.
No,
So
unless
hopefully,
we're bored, but
well,
I don't
maybe, yeah.
think I
So-
don't think that's going to be the case.
So on the next one you see probably will be on Monday, and hopefully you'll probably be surprised by how much things have leapt forward. he
Yeah.
says. Yeah. So
You
there we go.
might hear a few violins. No,
Well,
we're not going to be that fast.
right, all done. I think.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
Right. Thanks very much. Cheers, folks. Look after yourselves. Bye.
Bye.